Hello and welcome to BoyleSportsNews.com, and the first Grand Slam of the season is fast approaching. Of course, it is the Australian Open, and I'm joined by Nicola McGeady to preview both men's and women's and take a look at a couple of specials that we have for Andy Murray and the men's #1 player in the world, Djokovic. We'll start off with the men's first, Nicola, and I would find it difficult to believe that there was ever a time in men's tennis where it has been so good and so competitive. We've got four guys: Djokovic, Federer, Nadal and Murray. Not a lot between them. Djokovic rightly is the #1 man in the world because he is the best player at the moment. He's the favourite, but what do you view as being A, his main challengers, and B, can he make it all four Grand Slams in 1 year?
Yeah, you're dead right. All the focus is on the big four. Djokovic, who's the favourite, second favourite Federer at 7-2, then joint third favourites Nadal and Murray. Now Nadal, I think we're going to have to rule him out straight off.
Oh right,
okay. It's not often we do this, but he did pull out of the Qatar Open. He's extreme injury worries at the moment, and he's even admitted himself that he doesn't think he's going to win this because of his injuries. And if he doesn't have faith in himself, I wouldn't have faith in him as a punter to go on.
Certainly, and that's a good bit of information for people out there who are looking to have a bet on the outright market. If he's worried, you should stay well clear of the Spaniard. He's a super player, but maybe this tournament's come a little bit too quick. Yeah,
now looking at Djokovic, he obviously started off his season last year winning this. He won 3 Grand Slams last year, and as always, you know, he's a superb player. He's probably the one to beat at 5-4. He's just, I think he could be in the final with Andy Murray. I think Andy Murray is the person to look at.
So
to
a repeat of last year's final.
I think a repeat of last year's final, but I think Murray now, he's been in this final 2 years in a row, and I think it's his turn to actually go on and win it. He's the only one probably out of the big four who has absolutely no injury worries. He's in great form, and he's a brand new coach who seems to be working wonders
Ivan Lendl, for people out there who doesn't know who he was.
He could be the answer to all his
problems. I used
to
love him, watching him in Wimbledon. He was this guy from, I think, the Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia, whatever it was called back then, but he certainly knows what to do in terms of winning slams. Murray, to me, has all the attributes in his game, but just when it comes down to the semi-final or final, I think he really needs to win one in order for him to kick on. But if he was to face Djokovic in a final, would you fancy Murray?
I just think so, because I think Murray really has been fighting hard. I know he always bottles it, and that is the concern, will he do it? But maybe it's heart over head speaking here, but he really is due a win, and I'm just counting on this new coach to turn things around. So quickly we're going to move on to the ladies tournament. It is a little bit more tricky to try and pick a winner here. Kvitova, who actually won Wimbledon, she probably deserves to be favourite just on that fact at 5-2. My own fancy, Serena Williams, if she got back to full fitness, she would probably be the best player out of all these ladies if she was at the top of her game. Azarenka and Clijsters. But McGeady's going to do something completely different that she's never done before. She's going for an outsider. Tell us who it's going to be. Well, I've just gone for Andy Murray, who's also an outsider. She has. 2012 is a big year for McGeady. She's going for all outsiders. But yeah, in the women's, my prediction is going to be Samantha Stosur. She's a 16-1 price. She's the US Open champion. Now, she did take a break there. She pulled out of her last tournament, or sorry, she was knocked out by Schiavone. But she's had a bit of time to rest more than the other big guns in the women, so I think that will be good for her fitness. Serena Williams, when you bet on her, I think you're really betting on how her fitness is going to be. So I'm just not going to take that risk. As you rightly said, if she is in her best form, she will win the tournament. But I'm going to take a bet on her not being fit, and I'm going to go for an outsider at Stosur at 16-1. So Stosur at 16-1, Murray at 5-1 for McGeady. I'm going to go for Djokovic, 5-4 favourite, and Serena Williams at 4-1.